Hey guys, Zach here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Godzilla 65th Anniversary 3.5-inch Rodan 2004. Now, this version of Rodan comes from the 2004 film Godzilla Final Wars, which I've talked about before on this channel, but to talk about it now, it's not great. Now, I'm not saying I hate the movie, I think the movie's fine. I still think it's a pretty, enjoyable time, but as a whole, comparing it to movies like Shin Godzilla or the original Gojira, it's not as good as those movies, but it's still a really good time in my opinion, so yeah. Either way, with all that out of the way, let's get into this. So first, we'll take a look at the painting on this figure. And the painting on this figure, it's kind of weird. They didn't put a lot of effort into the painting here, but, they just, airbrushed it and called it a day, but the painting somehow still looks very nice. So, let's take a closer look. So, as we can see here, most of the body is the traditional red that we see on Rodan. The base of the wings here, or not the base, but the bottom of the wings, have a nice bit of airbrushing going along, which looks very nice. And that's on the front of the body as well, going all the way to the feet. And looking at the toenails, we can see that both the toenails and the fingernails are painted a bonish white color, but for some reason, I don't know if you can notice, but for some reason they kind of airbrushed the fingernails and toenails, which kind of a weird choice, but whatever, I guess. So, yeah, alright. So they're airbrushed, but they still look very nice. Going to the head here, we can see that the beak is airbrushed a nice brown. And they kind of, when they're airbrushing the beak, they kind of got the face a little, but that actually looks very nice in my opinion. I feel like that really adds to the face. So, yeah, the beak and a little bit of the face is painted a brown color. And the eyes are painted green with black pupils. So, yeah, I don't know if you can see that or not, but on camera, but if my camera can focus, there we go. So, yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the painting on this figure. And the painting on this figure, again, there wasn't really a lot of effort put into it. There was just, a lot of airbrushing and they just kind of called it a day. But the painting here still actually looks pretty nice. So the painting on this figure, I'd say gets a pass. Now I'll take a look at the articulation, and surprisingly enough, there is none, unfortunately. Nothing at the head, nothing at the ankles or anything like that. This is just a solid piece, or 3 pieces. A little disappointing, so unfortunately this figure, in terms of articulation, gets no pass. Now I'll take a look at the sculpt, and the sculpting on this figure is good, though I do have one minor nitpick. I do believe that the wings are just a little too small. Now I get why they're this small, so that this figure could fit in the box, but if they were just a little bigger and they made it so that way you could just attach the wings, then I feel like that'd look a little better, but it doesn't look awful, so yeah. Besides the wings, the sculpting on this figure looks very nice, so the sculpt gets a pass. Now I'll take a look at the detailing, and the detailing on this figure, for what it is actually very good, so let's take a closer look. So starting off at the head here, we can see that the beak and the rest of the creasing and whatnot on the face is very well defined and looks very nice. And going to the neck here, we can see that all the creasing here, again, looks very nicely defined. And going to the front of the body here, all the bits of armor on his chest and whatnot, very well defined as well. Everything here looks very smooth, very clean, and the feet themselves look great as well. Going to the arms here, we have a fair bit of musculature and some really nice creasing throughout. And speaking of creasing, all the folds and the flaps of the wings look very nice as well. Going to his back, we can see that we have more creasing in the back of the neck here, and some very nice detailing on his back. And his tail is detailed very nicely as well. I almost said Dale for some reason, but yeah. And that's pretty much it for the detailing on this figure. And again, for such a small figure like this, the detailing is actually very good. So the detailing on this figure gets a pass. So at the end of the day, should you get this? Honestly, this is not a bad figure. It's not great by any means. There are some minor things that I don't really like, but for what it is, it's honestly a very nice figure. In terms of prices, I'd say you're looking at about, well, on eBay this figure is going for like 14 to like 15 bucks, which I feel like is a little too high. I feel like 10 bucks would be the best asking price for this figure, but yeah. And I do believe Walgreens, they're actually selling these figures, so if you want, you could just go down to Walgreens and just, pick one up. So, yeah. And, yeah, so at the end of the day, I'd say get it. It's not the best Rodan figure. I think that the Bandai Movie Monster Series Final Wars Rodan looks much better than this, but if you're in Walgreens and you just see this there, I'd say pick it up. This is definitely not a bad figure whatsoever, so yeah. Anyway, if you want to know how big he is, here he is next to Dr. Billy Grant. Alright, now that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zek out.